running down the tracks from the problems you had, shaking your head for a while.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tommy Zamp, and today we are getting inside the mix on episode 3. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, the bell icon, so you can be notified of my future releases. And as always, leave a comment below and tell me your thoughts. Let me know what you liked about these videos, what you would like to know more about what we're doing, and yeah, share it with your friends. All right, so today we're getting into episode 3 of Inside the Mix for my third single, Live the Way You Should. I am joined with the one and only Jason Brown up at Starling Studios in Saratoga Springs.
What's up?
Hey man, how you been?
Been good,
All right.
been good. How about you?
Not bad, dude, not bad. I'm excited. I'm glad this single got out. I think it sounds great.
Me too.
And it was interesting recording this one because it was very bare bones. I recorded it at Brian Quinn's studio, the guitar player for Candlebox. Was down in Philadelphia and he was out for the day. I called him up and said, hey man, I gotta get this thing done. And he said, just here's the keys to my place, go use it. I went in, set up a couple microphones, recorded an acoustic guitar, and then sent you that and my vocal track.
Yeah.
And that's all I sent you. I think I sent you, just acoustic guitar and vocal.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And then everything else that you hear on the track was your production and your sound sculpting skills.
Sound sculpting. Yeah, that's what my business card says. Sound sculptor. Just real quick, the first time you recorded this song, you did it in my place. But I think you had like some disgusting cold or something, so you kept sniffling the whole way through, and we had to scrap the whole thing because it was done live, guitar and vocals.
It was my fault.
Of course it was. Yeah, no, it was definitely your fault. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, this recording was great, and yeah, it was just vocals and guitar, and I added a few other things to it. So let's take a look at what we did here.
Don't you wish you lived the way you should?
Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the entire session. Again, for anyone that's been following along with these videos that we've been doing, this is a much smaller session. The tracks that were sent to me were initially just 1, 2, and 3. Oh, 4. There was a vocal double as well. I forgot about that one. So we did use that at some point here. But let's just take a listen. I'll start a little bit into the song so we can just hear what the track sounds like, and then we'll break this down.
Take a back seat on life for a while. Live the way you should. Live every day in case tomorrow ain't around. Make a mistake and be proud. Life is like a lottery, and when you cash your ticket in, you're already a winner. Trust me, my friends. But you're lost in your field of no's.
Cool. Yeah, really nice track. So let's walk through what we had here. The main part of this track, of course, is the acoustic guitars. And if we look at those, with a lot of the guitars that I get from Mr. Zamparelli, I end up not doing a whole lot to it. This is the EQ for one of the acoustics, and there are 2 here. It was obviously the same guitar with 2 different mics on it. It looks like there was a 57 and a Rode, the NT1A. Pretty quiet recording here for anyone watching. Maybe watch your input gain next time you record these guitars. I don't think I ended up clip gaining these at all. If I had, we would see a little more here. But if we check the clip gain, it should probably, it's still at 0. So I suppose I could have tried turning these up, but I didn't. Faders might be up a little higher than they normally are. And the other thing that's happening is that these are going through a guitar aux. So we've got this up here, and then looks like I actually put some noise reduction on this, and I'm curious as to why I did that. Let's check it out. And that's why, because there's a lot of noise in there. There's actually a lot of room noise in that. So if you can hear it, here it is without this, and you just hear all that high end in there, all that hiss.
Yeah.
And then if you put that back on, it's pretty much gone, right? So that's why that's there. Those two are routed to a bus, and let's just see what's on this bus, because I imagine this is doing a little more processing than what I had up there. We've got an SSL channel, and this might even be, as I always say, I don't know if you put this on here or if I did.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah. Yep. So bit of a low cut here, up to about 80 hertz, almost around the lowest note on the guitar, and a little boost in the high end around 8K. And that's pretty much it for this. Everything else is right where it was. Another area EQ with a little boost around 5K, and the API 25. Did you put this on there too, or did I do that?
You did. I did not do that.
Yeah.
I don't put compressors on any of the aux channels. I just leave that kind of stuff for you.
Yeah. So let's see what this compressor is actually doing. Probably not a whole lot, but let's check it out. Yeah, very little. So it's really just, I mean, you know, I wonder if we'd even notice a difference if that wasn't on there or not, but I did put it on there just to keep those things a little more in check, right? And then that's all going to a reverb. So if we listen to this dry without reverb, and then with it, we hear what that reverb is. So
Yeah.
down here in this, and I think this was, I guess this was mine too. You don't use any of the Slate stuff, right? I feel like we talk about this every time, but have I ever mentioned Stephen Slate on these videos?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, Stephen Slate. Yeah. Yeah. So I
do use some of the, I do have Stephen Slate stuff.
Yeah.
But I did not use that.
Yeah. So just putting it in a small room, small decay, and the send level isn't very high either. So, but that's all that went into the acoustic guitar sound, right? And for, you know, the first part of the song, that's all we're hearing anyway. So just wanted to make it nice and bright, and nice and clear, and that's exactly what we have. Again, the recording was good, little quiet, but other than that, everything sounds really good. So, you know, and for, again, most of the song, let's jump down to the vocals before we look at this other stuff, since the first third of the song really is just guitars and vocals.
It's like an ode to James Taylor.
Moving down the tracks from the problems you had, shaking your head for a while. Later on, the haze that finally lifts from your eyes. You haven't seen clear for days.
So I've mentioned this before, but one of the first things I did with this was edit everything. You see these fades here. I was a little less meticulous with this. I kept a lot of these things like that breath there, because this is a much different style of song, right? It's more intimate when you keep breaths like that in there for this quiet acoustic and vocal type song. I think, did you do the comping on this? I feel like it's been so long since I looked at this actually, but each one of these different color clips represents comping of these vocals, right? So, and you did the comping. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did a total of maybe three takes of the song, and then I comped it together.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, you know, playlists are using Pro Tools for different takes of songs, and you kind of pick and choose which ones you want to use for different lines. So we can see it looks like there were 3 different takes comped together for this particular vocal performance, the 3 different colors there, pink, purple, and blue. So cool. And as far as processing on this, so this is a dynamic EQ, and I think, again, I think I've used something like this on your vocals for most of these songs so far. You just tend to have this boost in the 2 to 4K range in your vocal, and a lot of people do. The SM7 that you use, did you use an SM7 for these vocals or no?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I used this microphone right here.
The very one. That does help quite a bit for anyone interested in this. If a lot of female vocalists have a buildup in that 2 to 4K range, especially if they're very dynamic singers. So one way to kind of tame that down to begin with is to use the SM7. That's going to help with that rather than a really bright condenser. But this is a dynamic EQ, and you'll see that as those frequencies get louder, the equalization kicks in harder.
Lifts from your eyes. You haven't seen clear for days.
So that's what that's doing. We've got some EQ, low pass, brightening up around the 8K range. Stealing Chris Lord LG's move, putting an 8K all the way up on every track that I can. Some compression, probably not a lot. Again, these aren't terribly loud vocals.
Moving down the tracks from the problems you had. Shaking your head for a while.
In fact, there's not much compression going on at all. I might have used this just to get a little more gain out of this. And most of the dynamic changes that we see in this are from automation, right? So here's the automation line for this vocal. And that was done in touch mode with my faders. I used the artist mix. So all these quieter parts, rather than trying to compress it to get it even, I actually did ride the fader for all these parts here. So when it gets quiet over here, it should sound just as loud as it sounds over here.
Oh, wow.
Moving down the tracks from the problems you had. Shaking your head for a while.
Yeah. So without this automation on, we'd hear something pretty different when we get to those quiet parts. Let's check that out.
Moving down the tracks from the problems you had. Shaking your head for a while.
You know, with the music going.
Yeah.
Shaking your head for a while.
Obviously, too quiet. So with it on.
Shaking your head for a while.
So that's a great example of why you do volume automation at the end of a mix, rather than trying to crush that with compression and take out all the kind of naturalness of these quiet, intimate vocals. So the other thing on there, of course, is reverb. More reverb on there than on the vocal, and we're going to see the same vocal reverb plugin, vocal plate, and what's below that? Let's check this out and see if I actually did anything. Oh, I put a de-esser on there. There is a de-esser on your vocal as well. The S's were hitting just a little bit hard in this, so.
Later on, the haze that finally lifts from your eyes.
And that's the vocal. So, I mean, the gist of this song, the majority of this song was just guitar and vocals, right? So then you get into the question of, okay, well, do we want it to be just guitar and vocals for the duration of the song? It's not terribly long. It's about 3 minutes long. But it would be nice to have something else come in to just help the song feel like it's moving somewhere. You did have a vocal double in there, which I think, I might have had it in there earlier, and you asked for it to be taken out until this second chorus. So this happens only.
I did, yep.
Yeah, and this happens only over here.
But you're lost in your field of no's.
And that's it, right? And it sounds like I took some of the highs out of that just to, again, just you can hear it in there, but it's not competing with the lead vocal. And it's only those 3 lines there. So together, you've got.
But you're lost in your field of no's.
And that's a really nice effect. Without it.
But you're lost in your field of no's. But you're lost in your field of no's. How it should have gone.
The first time it was just guitar and vocals.
'Cause you're lost in your field of no's.
Really tasteful double and doesn't come in until very late in the song. So as far as other things that were added, first thing I did was add a bass to this. You can see my playing was spectacular. All of my edit points here. Should have consolidated that so nobody saw that. But really simple bass lines, especially when we get to the verse. A lot of whole notes. So let's check out what the bass is doing here for a second. Oh, speaking of tuning, looks like for some reason I tuned my bass. I did not tune the vocals this time, which it just wasn't that type of song. I thought that hard auto-tune just wasn't appropriate for for these intimate vocals. But apparently my bass needed some tuning. So I'd be curious to see what that's actually doing. Equalization on the bass. Interesting EQ on this, because all I was looking for with those guitars being so nice and clean right there, the only thing I was looking for in this bass was that real low end. I wasn't looking for anything up here, and then some compression. So let's check out what the bass is doing. And so really long whole notes, and in the mix, this is what we have. It comes in right on this end of the first chorus.
For a while, live the way you should. Live every day in case tomorrow ain't around. Make a mistake.
It doesn't do any movement until we get to the pre-chorus part.
But you're
I guess
lost
the
in your
chorus.
field of no's.
And just following those roots of the chords that you played.
On life for a while and live the way you should.
And that's pretty much all it does all the way throughout the song. I don't think it really changes at all, even on the last one here. Except for that walk down. Right, so that's what I had in there initially. And then, so if we listen to that without the key and shaker.
Make a mistake and be proud. Life is like
It's
a
definitely
lie.
better. It feels like it's going somewhere, but I just thought it needed a little bit more, and that's why I added in this keyboard part. This is, again, just using Pro Tools. Oh, actually, no, I thought I used Expand, but this is the Waves Electric 88 keyboard. Really nice electric keyboard plugin. Some EQ to tone that down a bit, and then I did put Crystallizer on there. Let's see what that actually does in a second, but first let's check out the actual part. So this comes in at the same time as the bass.
Live the way you should. Live every day.
Itself.
Tomorrow ain't around. Make a mistake and be proud. Life is like a lottery.
Still playing
and when
those
you cash your
long whole
ticket
notes.
in, you're already a winner.
And then the movement starts
Trust me.
with the chords and bass over here.
But you're lost in your field of no's. How it should have gone. And take a back seat on life for a while.
So again, just it just adds a really nice texture to this. It's
It's a beautiful part, man. And when you first sent it over to me, the first thing I noticed, I because it comes in a third of the way through the song, and you didn't tell me. I was just listening to the mix, and it completely blew me away. And I couldn't stop listening to it. I listened back like, I don't know, 10, 12 times. Just like it just adds so much and brought it to a different place. And yeah, it's
awesome.
fantastic.
Good. Yeah, and note wise, it's just fitting in there with the chords. It's not playing the root. If we take the vocals out, we can see how that fits with the bass and the guitar.
But you're lost in your field of
You can really hear that crystallizer too.
Definitely.
That's giving it that kind of
Yeah.
broken, shaky effect.
Exactly.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, if we take that off, we're going to hear a very different sound. All right, now it's just an electric piano. But with that on, it also makes up for my poor timing. I mean, seriously, this isn't a quantized MIDI part. It's just, you know, it wouldn't have fit with the song, with how natural the song is. This note is actually like, I didn't even notice this, but very late. But with the crystallizer on, you don't notice it as much. Sounds like I did that intentionally, but I don't think I did.
Don't give away your secrets, man.
Hey, I had to tune my own bass. Yeah.
It just adds so much.
Yeah.
It gave it so much more life.
Yeah. No, I was very happy with that part. And I think that melody is really nice, too. It's so simple. Da, 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 just right down the scale. And that just goes throughout the duration of the song. And then this last part, I like how you slowed it down. You know, it's like the only real change in the whole song is this ending. And so I decided to, instead of doing this descending line, do an ascending line to kind of end the song. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and you nailed the timing on that too, because that was completely off the click, man. All by feel.
I did. Yeah. Especially with my bass here. Yeah. And then the only other thing I added to this was I had tried recording a shaker all the way through, which I just didn't like. So I actually went to Expand and just found a little one-hit shaker. If I had a one-shot shaker, if you know what those are, like one side is padded, and but I didn't, and I couldn't play my shaker well enough to make it sound good. So I actually did MIDI shaker for this part. And I did actually play that on the keyboard. Exciting.
It's quiet, but it's there, you know.
It's effective. It really is. Yeah, it's so simple. And that goes, you know, for the duration of the song after it comes in. So, and as far as parts, that's all there is to it. It's really simple. I think it says a lot about a song when it can be, you know, 5 tracks and be really, really nice. Hold your attention throughout the entire song. I mean, I think that means there's some really good melodies and good lyrics and great performance. So, mastering wise, a lot of the same stuff except for the Kramer tape, which I feel like I asked this over and over. Did you put that on there or did I?
I did.
You did, yeah. So
yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. So
yeah, and I know we talked about it last time, especially for the delay you had on the guitars. But on a master, this can do some really nice work, just especially for this kind of song where you might want it to sound like it went to tape. So you've got a little bit of that tape noise in there. It just warms it up a little bit. And then I did my usual mastering with Isotope, Ozone, basic EQ, brought out the sides a little bit. I really like mid-side equalization. For the sides, I always take out the lows and then try to brighten them up a bit. So the lows are always right in the middle and the sides are going to sound a little brighter. Same thing with the Imager. Brought that bass all the way down just to keep it dead center. Then a lot of limiting from this because again everything was recorded relatively quietly, and then my meter for loudness, and that is the entire session for this. A really simple one, but a fantastic song and a great addition to the other ones that we already have.
Oh man, that's great. You don't need a lot happening to make something sound huge. You know what is this? Like 6 tracks total?
Yeah, as far as the instruments, yeah, it's 1 vocal, 2 guitars, 2 vocals if you count the double. When in my class, I always talk to students about simplicity and how do you make songs build, and it's all in the songwriting. It's not necessarily through production. And the song I always reference to get this point across is Someone Like You by Adele, which is literally 3 tracks. That entire, if you look at a screenshot of that session, it's 3 tracks. It's piano, lead vocal, and 1 short harmony over the bridge. It's one of the biggest songs of the year when that came out, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely don't need a lot if you have a good song. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I can't wait for next month. We're gonna get into the 4th single, which I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You're gonna have to stay tuned. Well, guys, that's going to do it for episode 3 of Inside the Mix. My name is Tommy Zamp. Jay Brown up in Saratoga Springs at his studio, Starling Studios. All the links are in the description box. Please go find Jay and Starling Studios on Instagram. All the links are going to be listed below. And give them a follow. If you're looking for any mixing and mastering or production stuff, reach out to Jay and Starling Studios. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and that bell icon so you can be notified of my future releases. Thanks again for checking out my channel. I'm Tommy Zamp. Jay, episode 3 is down, brother. I'll see you for episode 4 next month.
sounds good, man. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks again, guys. And remember, the time is now. See you next week.
And how it should have gone. Take a back seat on life for a while.